I'm Herb London, the president of the Hudson Institute. April 29th is the 100th day of the Obama administration. The first 100 days represent what is axiomatic in American politics, the time for great change for every administration, from FDR to George W. Bush. It is certainly no different with the Obama administration. We've seen cataclysmic changes take place. The transfer of capital from the private to the public sector has been enormous, trillions of dollars. We're not sure what the long-term effect will be. Will this invite a season of extraordinary inflation in the United States? It's not at all clear. We've also seen the expansion of government authority. It's almost unimaginable that the President of the United States would tell a CEO, a GM, you no longer have a job. It's also quite unusual for the President of the United States to determine who is going to get bonuses or what salaries exist in the private sector, even though presumably these are organizations receiving TARP money. The interesting thing about the Obama administration is that on foreign policy, there have been great overtures that are made by the President of the United States to explain America's stance on foreign issues. The President has said, we want to apologize for the way in which we've wrecked the relationship, the cross-Atlantic relationship. He has apologized for the arrogance of the United States and its foreign policy positions. And yet, interestingly, the President has also said in his Prague speech that words mean something and that we must punish those who do not take into account appropriate behavior. I'm obviously paraphrasing. But he did use words of that kind. A couple of days after the Prague speech, North Korea launched a missile that went right over the Japanese archipelago. He brought to the Security Council of the United Nations a statement suggesting that North Korea be condemned. And yet there couldn't even be a non-binding statement that emerged from the Security Council. So you wonder about the exercise of American authority and the role that the President once played in serving as the leader on foreign policy issues. On the other hand, the President had a pretty good week. Richard Phillips was released in large part because the President gave the go-ahead for the Navy to attack the pirates who are right outside the Sea of Aden. And there is no question that the President obviously played a very appropriate role. The President also suggested that we have to increase the number of troops in Afghanistan. The 4,000 additional troops, I think, is a noteworthy decision by the President of the United States, notwithstanding the fact that he wouldn't call it a surge and never used the word victory in the discussion of these additional troops. But it is clear that the American foreign policy position is shifting. Multilateralism is obviously on the ascendancy. The United Nations has become the channel for the expression of American foreign policy initiatives. So we are seeing a great change. The first 100 days end on April 29th. It is a period when we can assess what has happened with the enormous shifts that have occurred from Bush to Obama. But my feeling is that we are seeing monumental changes that are taking place on both the domestic and foreign policy side.